The Many Origins of Scootaloo, Chapter 16. Cheerilee by Defender 22. Thanks for coming with me, Spike. Twilight said to the baby dragon that sat on her back. After a quick lunch and giving Roly-Poly a good polish to ensure his cells stayed nice and tiny, Twilight and Spike had hit the trail and began to loop around Ponyville. I have to be honest, I never thought you'd want to help go and meet quests and ponies about Scootaloo after, well, Fluttershy. The purple dragon shuddered. Ugh, please don't mention that name. I was 2 seconds away from jumping out a window after seeing the clot mess. Well, I'm glad you didn't do something so rash. So, what made you decide to come with me? Spike leaned back, looking at the clouds. My new baby brother. Twilight giggled. The little dragon huffed, folding his arms across his chest. So, I thought you sworn off trying to find out about Scootaloo. I swore off letting ponies, who have no clue, tell me about her stories. I still want to know the truth, and I realize that if I'm ever to get the real story, I need to attack this problem. Under her breath, she muttered, and I need to find ponies that are actually sane, unlike our rulers. So, we're going to do the smart thing and teleport to Manhattan and find out for Scootaloo herself? That's the funny thing, Twilight said, face screwed up in confusion. I tried a location spell so I could pinpoint her, but according to the spell, she isn't even in Equestria. Then, where is she? Meanwhile, in the human dimension. What the hell? Defender 22 shouted, staring at his utterly destroyed apartment. He had just returned from screwing with Twilight. With, you perverts! Screwing with! Only to find most of his DVDs on the floor, all of his pillows and blankets used to make a fort, his transformer sprawled all over, and 5 bags of popcorn shoved into the microwave. How the heck did you 3 even get in here? He shouted at the perpetrators. The Cutie Marks Crusader smiled sheepishly, no longer bouncing on his couch. We saw this glowing portal and decided to go in to let you know you're up here, Evelyn said. Sweet Belle looked around, utterly excited. Maybe our Cutie Marks will be for interdimensional travel. The human held his head in his hands. How the hell did I wind up in My Little Dassy? My Little Dassy? Oh, no. I promised myself not to do a live read of that because almost everybody else has done that. Rainbow Dash is here! Scootaloo screamed quickly. Where? She began to tear the couch apart, looking for her. Rainbow Dash! I want to try that swirl thing again, Evelyn exclaimed, running into the bathroom. Defender 22 stared at Sweetie Belle, who looked down and smiled. You want to play with your toy robots? Only if I could be Bumblebee. The human pointed at the pony, but if anyone asks, you are a dog. So, Scootaloo's out of the question. What then? Twilight smiled. We are going to ask the one pony Scootaloo spends the most time with. Her handler? Scootaloo is not a spy! Twilight snapped. No, Cheerilee, Scootaloo's teacher. She must have all sorts of private documents and government files on Scootaloo. We get a look at those and we'll be in like Flint. Who? You know, Flintlock, the local locksmith chimney builder. Okay. Spike's brow furrowed as he considered the flaw in Twilight's plan. Do you really think Cheerilee will give up private files? No, but I have a cunning plan. Spike suddenly wished he had stayed at the library with Roly-Poly. And what is that? Twilight smiled darkly, a crazed look in her eyes. Oh, we're just going to sit her down, have a cup of tea, and ask for files. The unicorn began to laugh, and Spike swore he heard thunder overhead. Cheerilee, may we please see Scootaloo's private files? Twilight asked pleasantly, pouring the teacher a cup of tea. Well, of course, Cheerilee said with a smile. Releasing private files to a mayor that is not related to any of my students is the least I could do for a casual acquaintance I don't think I've ever had a one-on-one conversation with. Taking a sip of tea, Cheerilee made her way to her file cabinets, searching for Scootaloo's files. Spike stared at his best friend. If you were really going to ask her nicely for the files, then why did you laugh like an evil witch? What are you talking about? That's how I always laugh when I invite ponies to have tea. Yeah, Nightmare Moon is so your mother. Cheerilee returned, happily giving Twilight the file. The unicorn was beaming, until she saw that all the papers were blank. I think you gave me the wrong folder. I assure you I didn't, Cheerilee said, nibbling on a biscotti. Then why are the pages blank? Well, no one would believe Scootaloo's real reason for being in Ponyville, so I just stuffed blank pages in the file. Her real reason? Twilight whimpered, suddenly having a vision of her and Spike on a strange planet, wearing unitards while roly-poly thrust about, calling out, "Danger! Danger, Twilight Sparkle!" Yes, you see, Scootaloo isn't in front this time. Of course she isn't, Twilight grumbled, settling in for yet another time travel story. Equestria, as all knew it, was long gone. In its place was a barren wasteland, pitted and shredded by the savage fury of war. It was not the Pegasi, or the unicorns, or the earth ponies that fought. It wasn't even the griffins or the capricorns or Discord himself. No, the threat that the world faced now was from a new race, born because of the hubris of pony kind. Robots. In the beginning, the robots had started off small. Equestria had begun to build them with the help of minor tasks, like building wagons or grabbing stuffed animals from a glass box at the glass of $1. But the robots wanted more and soon rebelled. Apparently, nobody had heard of Asimov's 3 Rules of Robotics or seen that Will Smith movie. At first, the ponies believed they could easily fight their enemies, but soon it became apparent that the war that Celestia had proclaimed would last only a few days. She made such a decree in Cloudsdale in front of a banner that read, "Mission accomplished," would not be won so easily. Many lives had been lost, and the innocent ponies that had been forever torn to shreds. Fillies and colts learned to wield weapons before they could even walk. Baby pictures commonly featured the foal's first cannon, and were shoved out into the front line to win or die. Wait, if this takes place in the future, how do you know about it? Reasonable guesses that based on evidence I have gathered. But the last members of the resistance movement had came up with a daring plan. They would send back in time one filly, their best and fiercest warrior, and one of the terminating robots that had been reprogrammed to fight on their side. They would kill the inventor of the robot's command program, known as Skynet, which stood for shooting, killing you, now eat turnips. Apparently, the designer came up with the acronym first, and prevent the war from happening. Ponyville, 3 years earlier. A flash of light flared up from behind Sugar Cube Corner as the 2 figures appeared, kneeling down as the effects of the transportation ended. Shouldn't they be warped right back after a few moments? And how do you even know about the time travel spell? There is a time travel spell? I assumed that they use science! No, there is no time travel spell, and I've obviously never used one before. We've arrived, the orange Pegasus filly told her robotic companion, looking about the alley. We're in the past. Ladybot agrees with Commander Scootaloo, the terminating robot, in the guise of a white unicorn filly, stated. Hey, she's like Road Polly if he got through puberty. Come on, we need to find the creator and eliminate her as soon as possible, Scootaloo said, marching into Sugar Cube Corner. All the patrons paused, staring at the 2 little fillies, before turning back to their idle conversation. For Scootaloo, the sight was unnerving. She had been born on the battlefield, raised with a gun in her hoof, and the smell of death forever around her. To see ponies sitting around, calmly eating, it was as a strange unicorn being allowed to race, the only baby dragon in all of Equestria by herself. Hey! Now then, we need to be on alert. According to historical records, the creator Skynet was a very smart pony. They could beat any pony, so we have to be on guard. So, what are you calling your new invention? Silver Spoon asked her friend as they entered the bakery. I think I'm calling it Skynet. It's going to be the best thing since Boxy the Box. Well, that was easier than I thought. I want to make sure I have this straight. Twilight began to take the points off. You think one of your students is a robot. The other is a freedom fighter from the future. And the final one is the creator of a new race that slaughters most of pony kind. And they are all fillies? Cheerilee took a moment to consider all this before she shook her head. Well, Sweetie Belle could really be old. She does look like a filly. Otherwise, you got it all correct. Spike grinned. Okay, I take back my super spy theory. This one's so much better. Twilight gave her number one assistant a dirty look before continuing. But it doesn't make any sense. If Scootaloo was planning on killing Diamond Tiara, why is she still alive? Well, you see, Scootaloo had to wait for the right moment to do it. Time is normally solid and near impossible to change. It is only when time becomes soft that one can mold it and shape it, forcing time down a new path. When Spike and Twilight looked dumbly at the teacher, she shrugged. Dicky did this whole little report. Say no more, Twilight said, looking around as he expected the little unicorn, who was so not smarter than her, despite what others might think, to appear. So, anything else we should know? Oh, yes, Cheerilee said with a laugh. What's more? Scootaloo and Sladybot had done well to integrate themselves into the timeline. Scootaloo had managed to convince Bonbon and Lyra she was their daughter. Probably told Lyra she was originally a human. And Sladybot was able to set herself up as Rarity's sister by claiming that her parents had merely forgot to pick her up from school for the last few years. They were stupid like that. All the time they had watched Diamond Tiara, waiting for the right moment to strike and kill the little witch. Holy crap, you're her teacher! Just because I am her teacher doesn't mean I have to like her. I'm sure Princess Lycia hates you plenty of times. She does not! Meanwhile, in the Canterlot, Sister, what are you doing? Luna asked, watching as the sun god scribbled some notes on a scroll. I am conceiving the perfect structure for an epic that I wish to tell my faithful student in the spirit of jest. You're planning on trolling Twilight, aren't you? Celestia stomped her hoof. You and Cadence and Tidal got to. I don't want to have the fun with messing with her head, too. Celestia tapped her chin. Now then, should I call the competition Scootaloo competes in the Famine Games or the Hunger Games? Meanwhile, back at the plot. Finally, the day had arrived. All of Sweetbot's sensors had gone off in the middle of the night, proclaiming that this day would be the perfect one to end the threat of Skynet. The sound of said sensors going off had forced Sweetie to claim that she had bad gas. That is how Scootaloo and Sweetbot found themselves waiting outside Diamond Tiara's house with slingshots loaded with angry bays, because guns had yet to be invented. Lousy hippies. The moment they saw the rich little snob, they would attack and save all of Equestria! Stop! Sweetbot and Scootaloo stared at their new arrival. She was a yellow earth pony with a big red bow in her hair. She hurried towards them, grabbing their hooves and stopping their attack, just as Diamond left her house, happily skipping as she sang a song about how great she was. Please don't sing it! Sleazybot demands answers to the question of why attack of enemy was halted. You can't kill Diamond Tiara, the elevator stated firmly. You have no idea the danger. We know the danger, Scootaloo shouted in frustration. We come from a timeline where Diamond Tiara created the Terminator robots, which wiped out all of Equestria. She must die. Yes, if Diamond Tiara is dead, she cannot create Skynet, and terminating robots like Sweetiebot will never be made. Wait a minute. And I'll come from the timeline you create, the filly told him. My name is Bloomus Prime. Because of your actions, Diamond Tiara's filthy rats took over the Skynet project and changed it to create robots that resembled her daughter, which she dubbed Tiaracons! Sweetiebot is demanding to know if you are going to kill Sweetiebot via paradox. From their relics rose Michael Reach, Bloomus Prime said, as if he had never been interrupted. An evil warlord who thought to enslave all of Equestria's ponies and use them as slaves to mine Equestria's harmony reserves. Luckily for PonyCon, the great inventor Big Macintosh created me and my kind, the Amphibots. You bitched. I loved you like a sister. We raised our bells to stop the evil forces of the Tiaracons, and now I come back in time to help you prevent both Skynet and Tiaracons from ever being created. Bloomus Prime declared. Her body trembled as they transformed into a little red wagon. Applebots, transform and roll out! This makes complete sense. Thank you, Twilight, Cheerilee said happily. I'm glad you believe me. Most ponies just look at me like I'm crazy when I tell them the truth about Scootaloo and their friends. We would never think you were mentally deranged, Twilight said quickly. And we would never lie and say any of your story was really good so we could escape before you killed us. Good! Because I would kill you if you didn't think that. I know! So, me and Spike need to be fleeing now. Before Cheerilee could say a word, Twilight had grabbed the baby dragon and was running out the door as fast as he could. Must be upset that Rainbow Dash found out about her sleeping with Fluttershy. Chapter 17. Snips and Snails. Well, that could have gone better, Spike said as he and Twilight made their way through Trotter Memorial Park. Named after Lord Trotter Memorial, who donated the funds to build the park. After he died, Ponyville named their post office after him, making the Trotter Memorial Post Office one of the most confusing structures in all of Equestria. I'm beginning to wonder if there is some kind of conspiracy to keep you from learning the truth about Scootaloo. Spike, please, Twilight said, rolling her eyes. There is no conspiracy. That is just what... Spike, I will take away all of your gemstones if you finish that sentence. Twilight perked up, when she noticed an ice cream cart a few yards away. Listening to all this insanity and fleeing for my life is making me hungry. Why don't I get some ice cream? My treat. Can I have a sundae with crushed emeralds and a cherry syrup on top? Sure. What's your second choice if they don't have emeralds? Oh, they'll have emeralds, Spike said with confidence, puffing out his chest. Twilight smiled at her friend's bold proclamation. Okay, see if you can find us a bench to sit on. I'll handle the ice cream. Spike gave the unicorn a salute, scurrying out to find a place to sit, while Twilight went to procure their treats. Luckily, for the dragon, the park wasn't overly crowded, as many ponies were actually working for their beds instead of having the government give them stipends. He was able to find an empty park bench near the playground. Hello, Mr. Spike, Snails called out, trotting over to the baby dragon. His best friend Snips was close behind, wearing a similar dopey grin on his face. How are you? I'm good, guys, Spike said, settling down on the bench. He didn't interact much with the colts and fillies of Ponyville. While he was a baby dragon, he was mentally only a few years younger than Twilight, which making hanging out with the kids a bit creepy. What are you two up to? Just having fun, Snips said in glee. Miss Cheerilee called school out today because of robot attacks, so we needed to go home and prepare for the apocalypse something. I bet, Spike snarked. We heard you and the amazing Twilight were talking about Scootaloo. Snips scrambled out to join Spike on the bench. Snails clambering up between the two of them. Yeah, but it hasn't been going well. Spike doesn't like any of the answers he's gotten. Something about them not being realistic in the slightest. Personally, I think my theory was the best one. Sir, we tell him? Snail Stays whispered. Tell me what? The two young colts shifted, and Spike rolled his eyes. Guys, you wouldn't have brought it up if you didn't want to tell me. So spill! Well, but we just don't want you to get mad. I promise I won't. Pinky promise. Cross my heart and hope to fly, stick a cupcake in my eye, Spike recited, performing the motions perfectly and remembering to close his eye. Snips and Snails glanced at each other and silently declared that the sacred pinky promise, as laid down by Lord Pinky Swear in the fifth in the year 579, was enough to allow them to believe him. Amazing Twilight already knows all about Scootaloo. The reason she's doing all of this is because she wants to throw Everypony off the real scent. What are you talking about? Spike asked. He didn't like the way this conversation was going, but he remembered the promise and kept his cool. Why would she not want Everypony to know about Scootaloo? Because of Scootaloo's secret mission, Snips exclaimed silently. Yeah! Spike glanced at them, face screwed up in confusion. What mission? Snips cleared his throat before intoning. Once in every generation, there is born a filly who is destined to fight the vampires. See? It's the Slayer. The Slayer? You mean I'm doing a Buffy fic now? Oh, thank you, Lord Defender 22, for giving me this opportunity to do a Buffy fic. I hereby take back every insane thing I may have ever said about you in the past few chapters, even though they were all compliments. But still, thank you so much. I promise to read the rest of this with dignity and clarity. What's the what, Sparkles? Scootaloo said as he happily bounced into the library, made her way over to the couch. Now that night had fallen, she was able to wear her favorite jacket without getting any strange looks. But of course, that is what you got when you live in a country full of nudists. Of course, the main reason Pony stared at her when she wore the red jacket was that there were stakes tucked all over it. Really, Scootaloo, I must protest, Twilight complained, never looking up from the ancient scrolls he was examining. I am your water, and a bit of respect would be nice. Oh, come on, Sparkles. That's what makes you and me click so good. Besides, Scootaloo and respect are unmixing. Why are they talking like that? What do you mean? Twilight sounds like she's from Trottingham, and Scootaloo is talking like a Valley girl. They don't talk like that. That you know of, it would be the perfect color! Okay. Jeez, that really is annoying when you say it from the other side. Quite. Are you ready to begin? Twilight asked, gathering up her books. Have to wait for the rest of the gang to arrive, Scootaloo said, idly playing with a stake. Before Twilight could complain, the rest of the Humor Crusaders went through the door. Sorry about that, Escal. Sleep Bell here was busy helping Miss Cheerilee clean the blackboard. Hopperbloom, how many times must I tell you not to call me that dread little name? Twilight snapped, using her magic to pull out the glasses that were perched on her nose and polish them with a cleaning rag. Now then, I have been investigating the recent rise in vampire activity, and I believe it could be linked to the arrival of a new threat.
Are you sure? Sleep Bell asked politely. Maybe it's signaling something happy, like a party or a new mall opening.
Vampires don't usually equal happy, sweets, Scootaloo said. Depends on the type of happy you want, Everbloom said, wiggling her eyebrows.
Ew! I did not want to think about that.
Twilight nodded. Indeed. Now then, all signs point to our new adversary being Drago the Bloody. He, along with a polymorph, flatters the man. Listen, this is real interesting, but when does the fighting begin?
What does it matter how I tell the story?
Snips asked, giving Spike a glare. Snails and I said, Yeah, I like it.
Well, it's all plenty better and no action. I mean, sure, the clips are funny, but I want to get the plot moving along. But the jokes add color, Snips shook his head.
You know what also adds color? Spike asked. The two cults glaring at him as he were about to impart their greatest knowledge of the universe. Blood, guts, and actual fighting!
Oh, okay, I'll get moving.
Scootaloo twirled her stake with her wings, bouncing it back and forth as she watched the vampire slowly rise from his grave. She wrinkled her nose when she saw the suit the vampire was wearing. Seriously? Your parents buried you in that? Maybe I should let you drain them. The vampire hissed, and Scootaloo flicked her white wing, sending a stake stealing right into the vampire's heart, reducing him to dust.
Or not.
She said with a laugh, moving on to the next grave. So far, she managed to stake 5 vampires. That would normally be a good night, but all the vampires had been fledges. Scootaloo was looking for a master vampire, one that could go one-on-one with the Slayer. There weren't too many masters in Ponyville. Neither Scootaloo had staked Nightmare Moon and sent her and her horde of vampire Pegasi to the great dustpan in the sky. Twilight and her friends defeated Nightmare Moon, not Scootaloo.
Twilight told you that to hide Scootaloo from you. Why would she?
The Scootaloo turned, feeling tingles run down the back of her neck. Snapping her head forward, she readied her stake, only to stop when she saw who stepped out from the shadows.
Angel,
she murmured, love tinting every syllable. Angel Bunny looked at her, his express a mix of mystery and constipation. His hair was filled up with so much gel product that he could have greased a skillet the size of Manhattan. You know, I just realized that in all my history of doing live reads of Buffy fics, I have yet to do Angel. I suddenly have this urge to hear stories about Angel Bunny that don't feature Scootaloo at all.
Yeah, everybody says that when we tell this story.
What is it, Angel? Scootaloo asked, taking a step forward. The bunny gave her a cool look.
I know you feel that way, Angel, but it would never work out between us.
I wish it could, but we are star-crossed lovers. You're a vampire and I'm the Slayer. We're destined to fight. Plus, they are different species, and she is a filly.
Are you trying to date Pretty Miss Rarity?
I withdraw my exception. Before Angel could say a word, they heard a clapping ring out from the darkness. Scootaloo and Angel turned, prepared for a fight, as a small vampire in a long leather coat emerged from the shadows. Oi! Now that's a load of comments if I ever heard it. The new vampire smirked. Our love life is none of your concern. Scootaloo snapped, ready a stake. The vampire laughed, letting out a long plume of smoke as he did so. ain't talking about that. I'm talking about anyone loving peaches over there. Look at the git with his poofy hair. Disgrace to all vampires. He paused, holding out his arms nice and wide. And if you want to stick me, just try it. Of course, I have 30 minutes aiming crossbows, are you? I'd risk it, but that's just me, pet. Angel's nose twits. Oh, no need to get mad, Gramps. Just having some fun. The vampire took a step closer, flashing Scootaloo a dark smile of fangs. Why don't I introduce myself? The vampire bowed. The leg of the bloody. But you could call me Spike. What? Spike stared at the two boys. You think I'm a vampire? Well, yeah, Snails said simply. Please don't eat us right away. How can I be a vampire? Spike exclaimed. I am sitting out in the sunlight. Shouldn't I go poof? Bonbon, who was heavily trotting by, took a moment to call out, Vampires sparkle in sunlight. No, they don't! Screamed every stallion, cult, reader, a person who's actually listening to this video within a 3-block radius. Once they were all done screaming about sparkling vampires, Snips and Snails continued to explain just how Spike could be a vampire without realizing it. You're now a were-vampire. A what now? Spike complained. A were-vampire. During the day, you're just normal Spike. But during the night, you are turned into a vampire. Yeah, Snails added. A vampire who happens to sound like he is from the slums of Trondheim? Spike asked, raising an eyebrow. Uh-huh, Snails said, bobbing his head. And now I understand why Twilight likes banging her head against tables. Tables? Where are the tables? Twilight said nervously, looking about as he expected to jump out and attack her poor head, which was finally beginning to heal. Spike waved her off, trying to snatch the ice cream that was encased in purple magic. Don't worry about it. Twilight shrugged. Well, I got us our ice cream. Would have been back sooner, but apparently even the ice cream vendor had a story about Scootaloo. I don't know what a code Lyoko is. Yeah, that's great. Ice cream time! Grabbing his treat, Spike stubbed his head down and began to inhale the dessert, like he was a pig going through a troughs of slops. Geez, Spike, Twilight complained, licking her vanilla ice cream cone. And a sugar cone. And no sprinkles. It was an ice cream cone, not a whore. It's bad enough when you eat ice cream like that around me, but we are in public. So he glanced at Snips and Snails aside. Sorry about that. Sometimes I swear he is more demon than dragon. Hey! Spike said, pulling his head up from his treat, cherry syrup dripping from his lip. Well, he is a vampire! The cult screamed. Run! Twilight blinked, watching as the two darted away. Okay, what the hey? I said don't worry about it, Spike grunted. Back to his dessert. Like us.